Spirit with Eyes of Blue is a light attribute dragon type link effect monster. It's a link 1 with 300 attack and its point at the bottom left. It requires a level 4 or lower dragon or spellcaster monster. You can only use the first and third effects of this card's name each once per turn. 1. If this card is link summoned, you can take 1 Mausoleum of White from your deck and either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. 2. You cannot special summon except dragon monsters. 3. You contribute this card, special summon 1 Blue Eyes monster from your hand or graveyard, but if you special summon an monster from the graveyard, it cannot attack, also its effects are negated. With the summoning conditions on this card, it just needs a level 4 or lower dragon or spellcaster monster. I've heard some people discuss about the utility with cards such as Effect Veiler, because in the past, Effect Veiler, if that's in your hand and that's a dead draw, there's nothing you can really go into outside of a Link Karibo. This gives you an alternative. Mausoleum White, in order to understand what it does, we need to actually review that. Mausoleum of White is a field spell card. The effect is, during your main phase, you can normal summon 1 level 1 light tuner in addition to your normal summoner set. You can only gain this effect once per turn. Once per turn, you can target 1 face-up monster you control, send 1 normal monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard, and if you do, the targeted monster gains attack or defense equal to the level of the monster sent to the graveyard times 100 until the end of this turn, even if this card leaves the field. You can banish this card from your graveyard, add 1 burst stream of destruction from your deck to your hand. The first part of the effect allows you an additional summon each and every turn, but it's a level 1 light tuner monster, so you're going to need to be running specific cards in order to get the most out of this effect. You can then send a normal monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard, and that card then gets boosted by those attack points. So with a Blue Eyes White Dragon, any monster you choose will gain an additional 800 attack points for the rest of that turn. In terms of the last bit of the ability, when this card is banished, you can add a Burst Stream of Destruction. That card is also not particularly that useful if you have a quick look at that. Burst Stream of Destruction. This is the attack used by Blue Eyes White Dragon within the anime. It's a normal spell card, and the effect is, if you control Blue Eyes White Dragon, destroy all monsters your opponent controls. Blue Eyes White Dragon you control cannot attack the turn you activate this card. It's good in certain respects in that it can wipe out all of your opponent's cards, but the problem is there are so many cards out there that can prevent themselves being destroyed by card effects, and it also stops you from using the effects of your Blue Eyes White Dragons from attacking for the remainder of that turn. Therefore, with the Spirit with Eyes of Blue, it's not so advisable to use the secondary ability to pitch it to the graveyard. Better to add it to your hand, at least you get additional summons in the turn. Second ability, it locks you into dragon type monsters. Until you get rid of this card, you're stuck with dragons, but there are so many support cards out there that that's not necessarily an issue. Third ability, just by tributing this card, you can just special summon a Blue Eyes monster from your hand or graveyard. But if it's an effect monster from the graveyard, it cannot attack. Also, its effects are negated. That's quite useful, as you do have the chance to get a Blue Eyes monster. And even if it is an effect monster, if it's from the hand, it doesn't have the restrictions to it. It's only when it's revived from the graveyard that it cannot attack and its effects are negated.